Here today, welcome to the Crook County work session. Today is Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. It's 9:00 a.m. Start off the morning with anyone want to have a public comment? If you've been here, I see no public in here. Online, if someone wants to speak up, you'll have to type in your chat box and we'll unlock it. Okay, looks like there's any. Start with first item discussion is request for a waiver of land partition fee from Ocho Irrigation District. Craig and Bruce.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to come visit with you this morning. I understand we have some tsunamis in the world. I'm very glad to hear that Commissioner Crawford survived one in Palview last night. Hopefully that project isn't going to drag on forever, but in the meantime, we've got one before us that needs some attention. And I've asked Bruce Scanlon to come in and describe the project to you folks. And obviously Commissioner Barney will be familiar with it, but it's just so everyone is familiar with it. I thought I'd have Bruce just do a quick outline and then I'll discuss my request. So, Bruce.
Yep, thanks for the opportunity to kind of give you an update on where we're at with our modernization project, and specifically this property partition and purchase is related to the Mackay switch, which is kind of like the culmination of a lot of different things that we're moving to complete. The Mackay switch includes a pump station that will be on the Ocho main canal that will lift water into a pipeline that will go 6 miles up the Mackay Canyon to serve irrigators that are currently diverting water directly out of Mackay Creek. And they will then be getting water out of a pressurized pipe system that they will then use sprinkling of that water to irrigate their property. Their water will be available from April to October, our normal irrigation season, as opposed to the intermittent stream that Mackay Creek currently is and will remain intermittent. And so they'll have additional water for longer periods of time throughout the irrigation season. But the big environmental benefits, of course, are that we restore all of that water in stream. It stays there. It will help to restore the hydrograph in that area. It's of particular interest to the Chutes River Conservancy, the tribes, and all those agencies and groups that are trying to restore salmon and steelhead runs. And the Mackay tends to be one of those target areas for them to spawn in, what I'm told. I'm not a fish biologist, but it seems to be a big priority for them. So purchasing this property on Santucci's is for building a pump station. I'll remind the commission of the long history that has gone into this project, and that the idea of this Mackay switch has been in the works for over 20 years. And it required an act of Congress that this commission, the Crook County, was very active in the 2014 legislation. It carved out allocated water in Prineville Reservoir that will be delivered to those irrigators on Mackay Creek. And so without the commission and Crook County's involvement in that process, we would not be doing what we're doing right now, which is we are out to bid for this project. The district has partnered with the county on numerous projects along the way. Habitat conservation plan. We have received funds from this commission for piping projects in our district, and this project does have funds from this commission that are going to it. So we're utilizing public funds for the construction of this project, and so the consistent partnership, collaboration, the shared vision that we have supporting irrigated agriculture of of dedicating funds to this community that are going to benefit. Those endeavors, like we were talking about just a minute ago with 4-H and all of those community members that thrive in the way of life that we enjoy here in this community. So this is a part of that process, that plan that we're trying to achieve to get things moved along. So any questions about what we're endeavoring to do and or how it impacts the community at large?
Nope.
No, I commend you for preserving ag ground and also solving the problems of the in-stream that is becoming more of an issue as we go through. Yeah, thank you very much.
It's a win-win. It is a great project.
It is a
It is a
win-win.
win-win for a lot of people. So we're really pleased to be a part of it and that you guys are a part of it as well.
It's kind of unusual for counties to work close with irrigation districts. You know, the city of Prineville, irrigation district and the county have had a long work together in a lot of projects. Continuously working on the water quality issues and you know, the things that we do, it's been a good relationship.
But when you look like last night at the meeting in Pal Butte, the reason people are here is for the way of life. And that way of life is reflected in agriculture and agriculture-based things. So yes, we are closely aligned with the county, but it is also preserving the way of life that has brought people to the county. And it's protecting our taxpayers in that way of life.
Yeah, it's a huge investment in maintaining that.
Okay,
Looks like it's your turn.
Oh, go ahead.
other comments?
I was just, if we're gonna get to the money, I've got an idea for that, but if you wanna talk about it first, I'm happy to. go
Okay,
for it.
great. Well, this is not the first time that a request of this is, like this has been made. At least as far as my involvement, years ago, when the proposal was put forward to build the COCC campus here. The land that was on was county land. It was part of the fairgrounds. There was some land use issues that needed to be done. I was asked by then Judge McCabe if I would be willing to do that work so that there wouldn't be any conflict with staff. Because we had to waive fees, or city fees were asked to be waived. And then the county helped out by kind of expediting the project in order to move it along so we could get in for bids and do things that needed to be done. So this is by no means the first time that a request like this has been made in the 25 plus years that I've been attending county court and now commission meetings. I've heard many of these requests. And so basically, we're asking that the fee for the partition be waived on this one. In the event that you can find your way to get there, I'm also willing to match that waiver for the work that I would be doing as well. So we can try to make a significant impact on this project. It's only, $4,120 if we add it all up, but every penny counts in all these kinds of projects, as we know, and there's going to be overruns and there's going to be issues that come up as the project moves along. They always do. The other request that I have, that I apologize, Sarah, I did not include this. And I know this is probably a bigger ask than the money, but the county planning department has always kind of adopted a rule or a policy whereby applications are processed in the order that they're submitted. And I think that's fair. It's fair to everyone. You wait your turn in line, and sometimes these things are done quickly and sometimes they're not. With some of the transitions that we've had in the last couple of years, that time is now dragged out to anywhere from 8 to 10 weeks on some of these applications. And again, this is probably a big ask for planning department, but I'm wondering if we might be able to find a way to expedite this application. I'm actually going to slide a couple things. Talked to several of my clients, mentioned this to them. They said, go ahead, move me aside a couple weeks, go ahead and get this done. Now I'm going to be gone or unavailable for most of September. So my goal is going to be to have this application ready to go sometime in the next couple of weeks. And I think it would be beneficial to the project if we could expedite the processing of it. try to get it done more quickly so these guys can move on with their work. After we get an approval for the partition, which is kind of unusual in its own place, because it's atypical to create 2-acre parcels. But we do have an exception in our code that allows for utilities and such related things to be done, because obviously we're not talking about building a house, and we're not talking about taking away irrigated farmland, we're talking about enhancing irrigated farmland. So that's in a nutshell, that's my request, that we waive the fees and see if we can find a way to expedite the application.
So along with the fees, what if we donated the $2,000 to the project and didn't waive the fees? Is that something that would alleviate? I just know that we have a lot of people come in here, even the county came in here and asked to have the fees alleviated. And it's just tricky when it comes to, because a lot of them go through the state and different things. And we have a fund that we set up that we could probably, I think we may have 2,000 left in there. Christina's on here. She can probably tell us if we have 2,000 left in there. But I would kind of prefer doing that. I mean, it's a great project. Partners want to help out, but I think if we start alleviating the fees, that's pretty tricky. So,
In my opinion, the result is the same, so no harm, no foul, Bruce.
Choose however you guys will figure it out. We're payers for these users.
yeah,
Money's money.
I'd like to see if Will and John, I know John, if you would talk about the request to expedite, and then Will, if you would talk about how you would like us to handle the precedent setting and the money.
I appreciate that, Commissioner. I'm not like a slippery slope guy usually as far as arguments go, but everybody wants their applications pushed to the front of the line. People offer to pay more to get pushed to the front of the line. It's something that the only way to treat everybody fairly, unless we have like an expedited fee set up, is to process them in order that they're received. As far as the fee waiver and this whole situation, we don't have a policy in place, so I'm worried about setting a precedent, other people then coming and asking for the same thing. And so I would feel a lot more comfortable on behalf of my department if we had some type of policy where there were factors, where it was objective, where it was either, like the public interest test would make sense to me in something like this, like we do for public records requests, something to that effect. But I appreciate you guys on the fees. As you guys know, we're a fee-dependent department. Trying desperately to break even each year, so we're not spending through our reserves, so we can staff appropriately, so we can process these in faster than 8 to 10 weeks. And so it's the solution to a long processing time isn't to waive fees and push to the front of the line. It's to make sure that we get our fees so we can staff properly, so we can process these. But if we had a policy in place, if we had some type of procedure where the concern isn't that then 3 weeks later someone else will be coming and asking for the same thing, and we struggle to justify giving them a different answer, I'd feel a lot more comfortable. So those are my 2 cents.
What is your schedule? What's timeframe look like?
I was gonna get to that when we do our update. So if you remember, we had a big kind of surge of applications at the beginning of the year, and staff was working really hard to get through those. We just kind of got through that bubble late May, early June, and then we got flooded again. And so now we have a lot of applications, and we're once again struggling to get through them and get through them in time. But I don't think 8 to 10 weeks is very rare. A lot of these are half that.
Your thoughts, Will?
Just quickly on the expedited application process, I believe the county has talked about in the past and rejected the idea of an expedited application fee. That is something we could certainly look into. Again, there's an equity component to taking them in order. I think, Craig mentioned that he had a couple clients who were willing to kind of have their applications bumped. I think it'd be easy for them to communicate that to us and to move this application ahead of those in the queue, but we've got to respect everybody else who, if they're trying to get a house built, they need to get land use taken care of and get permits issued, all of that. So we need to kind of respect that. From my perspective, we need to respect the order that applications come in. As far as the fee waiver request, I appreciate Commissioner Crawford's suggestion. I'm much more comfortable with that. The county does not have good standards that I'm aware of at this point in terms of what we need to look at when we waive a fee. And, you know, I have a similar perspective to John. I don't want to get too caught up in the slippery slope argument, but we could open the door to other requests. So I think that the use of the community funds for this type of project is consistent with past board decisions in terms of when to donate. I think that's a great idea. I think it helps move the project along. And as John noted, it kind of keeps community development whole, which is important as a fee dependent department. So I don't have concerns with that suggestion. If you want to go to fee waiver request, I would ask that we bring this back next week and make sure we get some findings in place to clearly explain why we are waiving fees.
But if we went community benefit, and Christina's gonna have to give us a thumbs up, if you can.
She was muted right now.
Okay, Christina, is that possible still in our community benefit fund?
Yeah, so we're in a new fiscal year, so this would be for fiscal year 26, and we do have room for that $20,000 or $2,000 fee, excuse me, in that line if we'd like to.
Hey, thank you, Christina. So therefore, if we went that route, then it would be fine, and we don't need to go into specific reasons.
We could. I think Bruce's explanation was pretty thorough in terms of the reasoning for doing this, and helps it align with prior decisions in terms of use of the community fund. So, you know, best practice would be to come back and have a clearly written kind of explanation and findings in terms of why you're doing it. But I also think Bruce laid it out really well in terms of why it makes sense.
Okay, you're being a lawyer now. You're giving me an ambiguous answer. I'm looking for a yes or a no, Will, so let's quit the lawyer talk.
I think you're good. If you want to go community.
I mean, especially since we put money towards other projects.
No, I tremendously
Yeah, I mean,
see it as a community benefit. I think that's a really creative idea on your part,
Yeah,
Seth.
I think it's the way to go.
But I just wanted to make, like you say, I want him to quit being a lawyer and give him the yes or no, and now that he gave me the yes,
Then we're good to go.
we're good to go. So if you want to make the motion.
Before you
I don't
make the
think-
motion, excuse me,
Okay.
I have
Yeah.
two quick responses. One, just to be clear, the amount requested is $2,060.
Yes, it is.
And.
Deal breaker.
We can't,
Okay, I'll write the check for the 60.
we can't cover $60, sorry,
Yeah.
Frank, that's
And then to something that you said, Will, when I said I had some clients that were willing to wait, I wasn't talking about the ones that are in the queue. I'm talking about the 8 that are waiting for me to get applications that are saying, for the good of the order, go ahead and move these guys ahead in my
I
schedule. So,
appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
And so I'm not gonna participate in the vote because I am board member for Ocean Irrigation District. I don't confuse myself.
Okay,
And we're not making a motion today, we're just putting it on the consent agenda for next week. Is it more time sensitive than that?
No, I mean, we can manage it.
but can the application still go in? I mean, that's fine as far as,
I
is
think he
that,
says it's not ready yet. He said a couple
Okay.
weeks. So.
oh, a couple weeks, so we're fine. You're, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So it'll have to be moved out of the consent agenda though, because I vote on the consent agenda. So it'll have to be a discussion item again.
Well,
I make a motion to approve the funding of
$2,060
$2,060 for the Ocean Irrigation District
from the community benefit.
from the Community Benefit Fund.
And I second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the $2,060 Ocean Irrigation District. Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor, say aye.
From guy.
Crawford, aye.
Barney restrains.
Restrains or abstains?
Abstains.
Showed a lot of restraints.
Thank you very much. It was a very good presentation.
Thank you very much, folks. Appreciate it.
Yes.
As always.
As always.
Perfect.
Thanks, gents.
You guys do.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. Oh dear, look at all this.
Oh, Brad. Good morning. Good morning.
You're gonna sit all the way down there?
Hmm?
You're gonna sit all the way
He's
down there?
scared. He's asking for money.
I told- I-
I'm not scared to ask for money. Do I need to wait for Mr. Crawford?
I think probably be best.
How's everybody's morning?
Great, how are you? Good.
I'd forgotten that admin had moved out of these offices, so I came in here blithely assuming that there would be a giant pot of coffee waiting just for me.
That is why I made mine before I left the
Oh,
house.
my goodness.
I don't worry
You
before.
did all you could, and I
sorry.
proceeded heedlessly.
Sorry, Eric, my coffee's almost done.
Yeah,
Got one cold swig left.
Eric, I can, there's like 3/4 full.
You guys are so.
Keep you alive.
generous.
Another struggle.
I'm just gonna.
We questioned if we would maybe need to make coffee in facilities area because Brianna did say that we could, I know James is online, he may say no,
Do I have
but.
coffee over there? Yeah, Eric, hang tight.
Well, how long are we going to continue to have our meetings here? That would be the question to James. And then maybe we need to make a motion to purchase a coffee maker or.
Or I could just man up and bring my own coffee.
No, Eric, quite frankly, I went to leave the house and I went back in and made a cup of coffee because I was prepared for this. So I would love to be getting another cup of coffee right now. So we're very willing to make a motion. You can even take it out of my paycheck for us to get another coffee maker. So I have no problem. We need to have James weigh in on us for it.
John, you're saying.
Hear me, everybody.
Oh my gosh, wow,
Forever my dad.
wow, look at that.
Seth said when he left, go ahead without him. So many words, so.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
You can start, Brad.
Good morning, commissioners and fellow workers. I'm here to, for a request for funding for an in-house, paving project that we're planning, we'd like to do on Northwest Butler Road and Lone Pine. And, some work to be done at the county landfill on the, scale area and the tarping area that's got failing asphalt. Jackie kind of mentioned to, give her an idea of what that would cost. So that would be included in this also. And then the, 3 chain up areas out on Milliken Road that we struggle with every winter to keep the snow out of. Or, vehicles chaining up, they're actually dirt right now. And so we go in there and plow them. We, plow the dirt up with the snow, so it kind of makes a mess, so we have to go back and take care of and refix them, so. The Butler Road is from the county line all the way out to Lone Pine Road. It's failing at a pretty good rate. We got a bunch of D-lambs and holes in it. And we have a bunch of crossings from the irrigation district in there too, that are fixed, which they're not problematic, but the holes and stuff are with all the agricultural use and stuff on it, so the road is failing. So we've kind of slated that for our in-house paving this year, about 2.1 miles, about 2,400 tons of asphalt. Now, I started this ask for prices several months ago, and we had 3 asphalt plants in town. And so we were gonna utilize High Desert Aggregate because it's so close. It's about a 3-mile turnaround for our trucks versus going to Tri-County here and the top of the hill or the Knife River Hot Plant in Redmond. And that would save us a lot of trucking and hours for trucking. So we had an agreement with High Desert at the time to purchase there at $63 a ton. And that would have saved us a lot of trucking. Since then, Knife River's taken over the hot plant at, High Desert, and they intend to shut it down. So that hot plant will be shut down. We will be hauling the last loads of asphalt out of there, under agreement with the High Desert at the time, and they actually knocked the price down $3 a ton for us to do that, so. That price was gonna be about $144,000 for that amount of asphalt. Now, the other project that we got going on over here at the Milliken Road and the landfill is about 800 tons. Each turnout for the chain up area is about 230 tons in place. And then we had 150 to 200 tons of asphalt slated to work at the landfill, and that was gonna be purchased through Tri-County here, Taylor Northwest Tri-County at $57 a ton, pulling it out of here. So that comes to around $45,600 for that material. Total price for budget would be $189,600 for the asphalt purchase for this year's projects for in-house. Is there any questions from you at this time?
And I guess the biggest question is this fits into your budget?
Yes.
Because, and that would be my biggest question, and you're
Yes.
comfortable with this purchase and what it will accomplish?
Yes, I am comfortable with it. We are gonna outsource a contract with Puckett Road, see where we come in on, but I'm working on the contract right now with that, or RFP for that right now. We'll see where that comes in, and we are gonna redo some chip sealing next year to accommodate some crack sealing that we desperately need done. So it's gonna be covered under the chip seal and asphalt project monies in both houses.
Okay.
We'll adjust as needed for our chip seals.
Do you know when the last time that was overlaid?
What's that?
The Butler Road, do you know when the last time?
I can pull it up on my, I can pull it up for the next meeting, on my, capsule book and see, it's been a long time, it's pretty much just gravel right now in the middle.
Okay, I don't see any reason why this can't be moved to the consent agenda, if that's, or is this a more time sensitive?
Oh, no, I mean, I was planning on doing another presentation tomorrow, or next week with slides and stuff, if you guys didn't wanna do consent agenda, I'm more than welcome to go with the consent agenda.
I think it's considered.
Yeah. I mean, I
Okay.
think you've laid it out, you're comfortable in your budget, and
Okay,
you're the guy in charge, so.
okay, well, I was gonna do pictures and slides next week.
Well, you know, Ashley.
I don't have to do that,
Ashley,
put it that
you know
way.
what, Brad, I changed my mind.
Since you're so passionate about it,
Well,
let's double the.
I try to be
length of the-
prepared, so.
And actually, the pictures and the slides might be very good for the public to see.
Okay.
So I don't wanna take that away, so maybe we do keep it as discussion, you do that, people understand what you're trying to do, and maybe that's a better, more transparency for the county.
Okay,
Sorry, Brad.
well, that's fine.
You're the one that threw it out there.
Well, I was, and, I knew this was a pretty big ask and, pretty big ask for consent agendas, generally a discussion for
Sure,
a regular session, so I was prepared to do that, so.
okay, yeah, maybe then that would be the best route.
Okay. This is just to kind of get you guys in queue and have any questions for me to answer. We are renting a paper again this year, and we are actually renting it from the city of Redmond. We'll be renting their paper, and, they'll be having a couple staff members come shadow our staff to get them dialed in first thing in the morning on Monday, August 11th. Is when we're gonna start the Butler project, and, we'll go from there. The staff is, a lot more responsive this year than last year, because last year was kind of the new year of paving, and everybody was apprehensive about doing it, and it went well. And so we're gonna continue down that road and in-house pave as much as we can at the time. So, and we still contract out stuff too. We can't do it all. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Okay,
next
I'm
week.
looking forward to my slideshow.
It will be short and sweet. So,
Okay, all right, Brad, thank you very much.
thank you. Have a great day.
Rebecca, IGA.
I don't think I need to go all the way up there with Brad.
You can have a seat.
This IGA for OSU Technology Access is not a new IGA, it's just renewing, updating an IGA that was already existing. It went to Eric for him to review, and then I put in the request for it to be updated. The access is just allowing myself and Carmen to have access to some of the technology programs that OSU has, like By or Printer that the faculty uses. And so it's just a use idea. If you have anything here.
No, I'll reiterate that this is a latest iteration of an agreement we've had in place for a long time. There have been some modifications to section 5, which talks about insurance requirements. As you guys know probably better than I do, it's becoming increasingly difficult to get cyber insurance coverage. So that is the greatest substantive change to the prior iteration. OSU, however, was, worked with us, and I'm grateful to them. So I think this is on the consent agenda for next week. Okay.
Yeah, number 5 is what I had outlined. I was gonna ask you about that. Does that fall under our terms of insurance that we already have, or we have to go in additional?
Correct, yes, thank you, yes.
Okay. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you very much.
John.
It's getting me.
John's first.
And there's one.
We changed it.
This was the one we pulled and put back in. Sorry, it's his comment letter.
Your comment?
Mhm.
Good morning, commissioners. So I was asked to write a letter in support of, City of Prineville's application to purchase, DSL property, Department of State lands, just west of the airport, adjacent to the airport, boundary. I believe all 3 of you commissioners sent letters, in opposition to a proposed lease, from a different entity for, a solar project on that same property. And so there's kind of competing applications with DSL here, and so this is the one for the city. I believe this isn't due until August 2nd, in case you guys wanted to have any revisions or float this draft by the city beforehand. And I know this letter is a little bit dry, a little bit lawyerly maybe, but so the way DSL considers these transactions, I want to make sure we have put our best foot forward. Basically, under their rules and the OARs, they are obligated to follow their constitutional mandate, which means that they basically control their property for the greatest benefit of the people of the state. And then the other one directs them to follow their asset management plan, which is a 2024 document. And so this letter here tracks those. It tracks the constitutional mandate, emphasizing the benefit of people of the state, especially the people of Crook County. And then it tracks their 3 kind of guiding principles in their asset management plan. Advancing the plan's strategic goals, which is varied by category of land they own, like grazing land, or this one is ICR land, industrial / commercial / residential. It's right by an urban growth boundary, and so they have specific rules for this type of property. And so the letter tried to track that. They also, in their guiding principles, want to support climate resilience and environmental justice in the 2024 plan. And so that's the tack I took in this letter, kind of just trying to check all their boxes to make sure that they knew this possible transaction was in their best interest and followed their guidelines.
Good letter, right? All for it.
Would it be worth sending it to the Secretary of State and the Treasurer's Office as well?
Yeah, I mean, spread it all around you
We
want.
found a contact this week at the conference through the Treasurer's Office. And we had a really good conversation with both the Treasurer and the Secretary of State about this, and Tobias has helped us on this before. It was about 8 years ago. We got him to do that DSL property next to Schwab's and get him to do, they wanted solar on that, so. He remembered that, and I talked to him about who, potential people that have purchased that, and I think it's a really good thing, and that was even farther out than this at that time. So this makes even more sense, so I would add the Treasurer's Office and the Governor's Office, just because the Governor, the Treasurer, and the Secretary of State are the 3 members of the Oregon Land Board, and so they're the ones that kind of manage those employees and makes the final decisions on all these.
So currently CC'd is Governor, Senator Mike McLean, Vicky Breeze Iverson, and then Secretary of State and the Treasurer. So
The only thing I would add is Jessica Howell. Got it
Yes.
now.
Yeah,
and who she was?
it's pretty good. I thought Pal, but Pal, that's pretty good.
She's with the Treasurer's Office, and
Yes.
Brianna has her email.
Yes.
Okay.
She just made it clear that that's the person in her office she would like the information to go to.
Yes.
I should also thank Senator Brianna for fixing the signature line. There was difficulties there, but so I assume they can clean up the CC as well.
And at the Pendleton conference, Seth introduced me to the Secretary of State and the Treasurer, and obviously Jesco Hal. And so I even got in my comments, and I think they were very well understood. And I think I thought it went very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, that alone made the conference worth it, even though there were some.
Yeah, actually it
things.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that we have definitely got our point across. They had received our letter, and then they verbally, obviously we didn't cite, the same, but I think they got the drift, and I thank Seth for introducing me, so it was basically two different commissioners at different times were able to get in Crook County's best interest.
Great news. I think this is really important, especially for the city's planning efforts. Put a lot of work into getting things set up there, and this will still leave them some room to work with, and for the airport as well.
Is this kind of sensitive or?
I think that it's due August 2nd, so pretty time sensitive.
So can I make a motion that we sign this at the end of this, or do you have the letter prepared?
We do, but not with the new CCs.
Okay, so can I make a motion that we approve this letter and sign it out of meeting, I guess, is that the proper term, out of the meeting?
Second.
With the amendments.
With the
Correct.
amendments that have been discussed at this time.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the letter to the Department of State and Land for the city of Pineville, and to sign out of the meeting. Any further
I have
discussion?
no discussion.
All in favor, say aye.
Herman guy.
Crawford, aye.
Barney, aye. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Public service franchise agreement, Will.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. In your packet is a brief memorandum, about, an update to the current solid waste franchise agreement. As you may know, we have a longstanding franchise agreement. I think it was originally adopted by ordinance in 2005. I think there's been some was re-recorded at one point, and then there was an additional ordinance to acknowledge the transfer to Republic Services. But our solid waste franchise agreement is in need of review and updating. Other jurisdictions in the region, including Deschutes County and the city of Redmond, are currently looking at updating their franchise agreements with Republic at this time. So there's an opportunity to kind of coordinate with other jurisdictions and make sure we don't need to have identical franchise agreements, but there's an opportunity to take advantage of each other's efforts and put us on the same playing field regionally. Specifically, I think there's an opportunity to address the rate structure and review in the franchise agreement, accountability and performance standards, public transparency and engagement, and risk and liability management. If we can address those issues, I think we can improve county protection as well as ratepayer protection. So my ask this morning is that you give me the authority to kick off those negotiations. As Commissioner Crawford mentioned at a recent meeting, we have been working on a draft agreement internally. I think we are in a position to move forward at this time with presenting a draft to Republic. And if the board's on board with moving forward with initiating those negotiations, I'm happy to lead that effort and bring regular updates back to the board as we move forward with that effort. Any questions?
No, I think you'll do a good job.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll keep you guys updated. No, I don't.
Do we need a motion or anything, or it's an agreement, or how do we?
I just kind of wanted to update you and make sure you guys were
How do
aware
we
that
handle
we're.
that?
Yeah, I don't think we need a motion for that. It sounds like the consensus is, we'll reach out to them. At some juncture in the future, there may be a document or a request for additional authority, of which will come back and require some kind of motion there. But for right now, I don't think we're at that juncture.
And does Republic want to say anything since you take the time to come here?
I don't have anything.
Okay. just thought you took all the time to come here, maybe you wanted to tell us something.
So are you one of the folks at the Prineville office?
Yeah, I travel between Brineville, Redmond, Bend, I'm the municipal admin, so bringing statistics. But I do a lot of things.
Thank you very much.
Well, yeah, thank you for coming, we appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Community development, monthly update. John, thank you.
Maybe they're ready to kick things off.
You go first again?
Yeah. Okay, so let's print it out here.
We can do that. So if you guys see, our numbers up just a little bit from last fiscal year, so obviously not in our normal typical years, we kind of experienced the last couple of years. You know, we're a little bit ahead. I think some of that probably has to do with the apartments, number of permitting there, a little bit of the data center. And again, commercial construction still just continues to dominate quite a bit more than the residential side, which, you know, sustainability wise, that's pretty good indicators for me. It's been a common deal, not just the data centers, it's the businesses associated, you know, that are not associated with them, so.
Any activity in the other apartment building? Are they,
Say that again.
well, you got the two different ones and the one now at the hospital seems to be kind of moving faster than the other one. The other one seems bogged down. I don't know if that's pun intended or not.
Yeah, that's kind of some good language. They're still fighting the,
They still haven't got the handle on that yet.
yeah, they,
That's interesting.
that I don't know. I mean, they're just fighting heavy groundwater installation of the pipe. They've worked and gotten through a couple of engineering practices, trying to figure out how to over excavate the trenches. And then we're bringing in some riprap, essentially that kind of builds a hard bed base. Because once you excavate that with all that water, it creates that silty. And so now instead of a firm bed, you've got a soft bed. And then obviously with sewer, you know, it's gravity sewer. So getting the waves out of it's, you know, that's the most important part. So they're over excavating a couple feet, they're dropping in riprap, and then they're bringing in pea gravel to set on top of that, so they can kind of smooth out the trench to get us, you know, level bed. And then bringing the pipe in, and then also adding more pea gravel to that, so. It's just, it's a challenging project for those folks, for SMAF and their crew. But yeah, no, it's clear evident. I mean, the ones out of Ochika Lumber, I think. We're at the third story and they're putting roof on right now. You know, they're setting trusses on the first building.
Yeah, I drove by there, I was surprised how fast that's went up. But it's funny, they had no indication of the water at all until they hit the ground. No one, I mean, you would have thought that would have been researched out.
So we require soils investigations, so I'm sure all those reports indicated it. You know, they've got the same thing out there at the Ochika Mill. They got groundwater there, it's just not as high to the surface. You're at the confluence of the Crooked River and Ochiko. The water level has receded. And so SMAF and those guys, those folks are trying to push through a window. Again, we're trying to coordinate with them on inspections because we can only get so much shoring in the ground. They've got their pumps in there. You can only get so much water out at a time. You know, so I mean, put the shoring in, pump the water as fast as you can, try to get the pipe in, try to coordinate us in there for inspection. So, you know, our team's trying to, and then I don't know if you guys are aware, we have a employee that's out, he's got a medical, but he's one of our A-level plumbers. So, you know, it's kind of put some more challenges on our team too, as far as managing those, but so far we're doing well. But yeah, no, it's night and day difference between the two, and then a lot of it's just the groundwater.
Interesting. Maybe it should have looked at dewatering it.
Yeah, I mean, they got the big sump in, I think at the bottom of it was 28 feet, but we had to fill it up, they had to fill it up just to keep it from floating, so.
Yeah.
All the manholes I think are in, it's just now it's just the connecting pipe, that's what they started with. They still got their, you know, we're trying to work with them because we've already done the plan review on all their buildings. So all the permits are ready and in queue. But once you apply for a permit and you don't purchase it within 6 months, you can do an extension request. So we're kind of working with them because we've done all that work. And so we've got some financial, our team's got, you know, quite a bit of time and effort in those buildings for review. So we're trying to kind of help them along. So, it's just challenging all the way around for those folks. But other than that, got about 169 houses under construction currently, 730 other residential type permits. Almost 300 commercial permits still active that we're managing. Let's see, still averaging about 1,000 inspections a month, so, that's quite a bit, and. We've got a few more remote projects going on out there at the old Gutierrez Ranch, they're building a new project, so. Some of the far remote ones, you got a half a day for one inspection per guy,
What are they doing at Gutierrez?
they're building a new house.
Oh, so that kind of did finally go through.
Yep.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you, guys.
It's a beautiful house, I wish I had it.
Well, he wanted to buy my house, so we didn't have to do that process, but I told him that that wasn't gonna be a way for him, so I'm glad to see Kelly's getting his
Yep.
house.
Yep, it's permitted, I think we've done the foundation, I think you're gonna maybe go out with them on the next demo.
Yeah,
So check out that
Yeah.
process.
Very nice people and very deserving that they have a place there.
Mhm. Other than that, no, I mean, you can see the major projects, the only other ones, we have another, that 58 unit storage complex, they're starting it. We haven't heard back on that new wood pellet brick mill out on Bus Evans. We just got comment back from the architect on the new wrestling room addition, there at the old high school, it's the elementary, it's the middle school now. It's the old high school is what I call it, but,
And then the middle school?
yeah, it's the middle school, right there behind Les Schwab, by the creek.
Yeah.
So Fuel and those guys, I mean, that's a long-standing project, they've been trying to get going as a new mat room, dedicated mat room for the cowboy, for the wrestlers, so. We're trying to help them facilitate that, it comes with some challenges, the existing building. Current code requires sprinklers, it's not currently sprinklered, so in order to do additions, you have to do some creative firewalls and stuff, so we're trying to. Work with their team to get that figured out.
On the Crooked Tails, they just removed that house. They demolished the house next to it. And I'm assuming that Crooked Tails owns that. And they're expanding into that lot. Is that correct on that
Yep, correct.
section? Okay.
Yep, and what they're doing there is I think they combine lots to expand a single tax
I
lot.
wondered if they did. Okay, yeah, they just, that house has been abandoned and then they brought the excavator in a couple days ago and now it's gone and they're dump trucking out the stuff, but you could see that Crooked Tails kind of has a garage that kind of went, it's kind of like in between there, and I was wondering if that was a combination and then they're gonna do their expansion.
Yep, that's what they're doing. And we're also doing one over here at the Calvary Baptist Church. We've been working on that one for like 4 years. Between their architects and their ideas, it's got code challenges as well. It's got a basement, it's unsprinklered, it's an old church, occupant load requires it. And then tying into that with the city land use is that they're up against lot coverage and setback issues. So we've been trying to negotiate with, I think this is our third architectural team that they brought on, trying to negotiate. Basically, what we're trying to do there is we're allowing them to kind of reorganize some of the space in the interior to allow a corridor to add extra bathrooms to accommodate restroom facilities. So we're not increasing the space for occupants. We're just redesigning some of the interior to get access to more bathrooms. I think they're adding 4 or 5 more toilets to it. And that way they don't gotta go in and out of the sanctuary. So there's some creative things that the city's also trying to mitigate. And so I think it's out for comment now to see if we can, any injections to what we're trying to do.
It's Calvary Chapel.
Yeah, I think that was covered. It's over there by, the old Crooked River.
Yeah.
To the east. Bus garages. Yes, bus garages. Yep, you got that. But I think that's it. Staffing wise, just so you guys know, again, I mentioned we have one out, and some unexpected health issues. So working through that. Pretty good hit to the team, but, we still have Rich that retired, but he came back on call. What we've negotiated with him is up to the 28 hours, so we keep him under the threshold for a part-time employee. And then, if you guys remember, we lost one of our plans examiners to the shoots. So he's backfilling the residential plan review, but he's gonna be looking at, here shortly to probably going to an actual on-call position. So at that point, now we'd have no residential plan review capacity. And then we also, in the budget, chose to remove all those pending FTE positions. So there might be a point in the next 6 months or so, we may have to come, depending on Rich's goal for transitioning, to maybe ask for another FTE. And then, so with the loss of Rich, our goal is always 2 A levels, which data centers and all that are heavy electrical. So Rich is our only other A-level electrical, plus our only dedicated resi plans examiner. So we're gonna have, it's gonna be a pretty tough position to fill, because finding an A-level electrical is very difficult. So we may have to start posting that early, so we may, depending on Rich, we may come to you guys to discuss that too. So, I mean, we're managing with the amount of employees we got now, but you know, if these numbers stay consistent and with Rich transitioning, we're gonna have to do something in order to stay sane over there. But
Where is the 58 unit storage going for?
that's the one, you remember where, the old Les Schwab is, behind, the old, Dixon, is it Dixon Salary?
Yeah, that's what's going in there.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like it's more catered, I think it's more of, the units are large enough for like boats and RVs, if I believe. So, kind of like an indoor storage type deal, some are just canopy only, some.
Thank you, Randy.
Yeah.
Rest of the department has been busy as well, and so, looking through the numbers here, planning, that I was mentioning with, discussion with the OID request, planning numbers are up 30% for the month of June compared to last year. We're up 20% year to date and 17% the fiscal year. One thing, these charts are not coming across through into your packets the right way, so the charts will look much better, I think, next month moving forward, and we get kind of that thing ironed out, but.
We're okay on their town cloud links.
So there,
Mhm,
okay,
it's just the way
great,
the packet did it.
weird, but 20, yeah, numbers are up, we're up over what we were 23, 24, kind of. Hopefully this trend continues and we can figure out staffing, and this is a good problem to have, I think, getting this many applications. As far as notable stuff we've been working on, I'm not gonna call it Rosh, the Moffett Solar, we had deliberations were scheduled for July 23rd. Those have been continued until September, to kind of get some things worked out. Mueller subdivision. The planning, that's up in Juniper Canyon, the planning commission approved it. They haven't signed the final decision. There was a request from applicant's agent for to negotiate something that might be in our best interest, and so I'm gonna have those discussions before the planning commission signs the final decision. The Department of Defense military overlay, you guys heard that on Monday. I think that went well. We just have one more hearing on that. August 12th, and then Palo Butte Community Center has a childcare facility application coming in that we're gonna be hearing on August 13th of the planning commission. I'll, I guess, also add on that note, I've Ann Byers here talking about the military overlay, and you said you wanted to come back, right? You wanted to stay involved, and so I'm in discussions with her about keeping her involved. And a contractor hoping to kind of feel out doing a goal 5 inventory update. So you guys know goal 5 is resources, cultural, scenic, natural, and so wildlife, that kind of thing. It also includes aggregate. Ours hasn't been updated since 1978. We tried, I think, in like 2008 to 2012. It's a hard thing to do. Deschutes County tried and they did not succeed, but I pound the table that we need to update our comprehensive plan, and this seems like a good place to start with all the development going on. It's important that the community's heard and that our comprehensive plan reflects the desire of the citizens to preserve what's important and what makes Crook County. So that's maybe an ongoing process. It also ties into the state's new solar rules require kind of an abbreviated goal 5 inventory process to implement the new rules, so we can have some discretion on where these things are cited, and so it's going to tie into that as well. I want to get the community involved as much as possible, but so this first step is basically I'm going to be bringing Ann on a contract to kind of look at the landscape and see the potential of it and kind of what paths we can take, and then get the public involved as early as possible if we're going to move forward with it. So we're also doing in the near term a kind of broad code update that's just all these little code provisions that we catch that aren't worded right, you know, new applications come in, we find new problems with stuff in the code. And just things that need to be updated to reflect state statute, so. That's gonna be coming in the next couple months, the goal 5 project is take a little bit longer.
So the abbreviated one versus the full one, can you do the abbreviated one independently of the full one?
100%, yeah, that's the idea. So the abbreviated one will be coming quick, and then the full goal 5 will be at least a year-long process, if not more.
So back when I was on planning commission, Gary Bedorza and, what is Weaver's first name? Lawrence Weaver, I was thinking, I can't think. They worked on a wildlife plan and they worked a lot and then it got denied. It all fell apart. Is that going to be part of the goal 5? Are you gonna try to resurrect that? How is that gonna work? Because that was a mess.
Yeah.
I was kind of at the end of it and that was a mess and there was a lot of bitterness, I know.
We're gonna be starting from scratch. There's better data now as far as like tracking wildlife and that kind of stuff and better mapping. And so, gonna be starting from scratch. The last one, it got, I don't remember all the details, and it was before my time, obviously, but it got tied up with, you know, entities like Central Oregon Land Watch having an issue with things. And so, I meet monthly with Central Oregon Land Watch to talk to their attorneys about kind of what's going on in the county, and I've already brought this idea up with them. And I think it's important if we get them to the table early, along with the public, that we can avoid litigation and avoid the kind of years of headache and failure that we went through last time, so.
And part of the solar farm thing was because the wildlife map wasn't accurate.
Yeah.
But that was what you had to hang your hat on.
Yep.
And that was a difficult thing. So it does need to be updated, but I just want to warn you, I definitely kind of just stood back, but there was, and I can't remember who else besides Lawrence and Gary were on there. But it was a very bitter thing. I don't know. Do you remember, Will, who else? I'm not sure if Laquita was on there or not, but anyway, it was a very bitter. And they had really worked hard and felt that they had a very good representation. So you might want to look back at that data.
Well, Ann was involved in the last one as well, and so that's another reason why she's
Yeah,
gonna be a
and
great
that
resource
is-
for this.
And that is why I'm saying
and
it's great.
My eyes are wide open. I know it's gonna be a challenge and it's gonna
Yes.
be really hard, but it's
Yes.
really important to the county, and so it's worth
And
trying.
it's needed. And
Yeah.
it's definitely needed as development increases because all our wildlife maps are wrong.
Yep.
And it needs to be, so I commend you. And I
And-
commend Ann.
It might be foolish, but we're.
The only thing I would say is maybe there was like 2 or 3 things
Yeah,
that were the real deal breakers. So maybe like start with those in the beginning and get them to sign.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get them to sign off on it ahead of time. But I mean, I was one of the people that voted against it because there was a rule that you couldn't build a road more than 30 feet off the border of your property. And that is a complete non-starter. And it sucks that they put in all that time and effort, but and there was 1 or 2 other things that were just daggers into the backs of our citizens, and I'm uninterested in. I mean, we can, you can spend 4 years, we can come up with that same outcome and I'll vote the same way. So, that is not realistic. So I would really look at some of those things that were the hot button issues and see what you can do.
I'm really busy with my job, and this is gonna take a lot of thought and a lot of consideration, and that's why it's great to bring on someone like Ann, who is so experienced and has so much skill, but she has so much free time as well. And so the discussion with her is,
Now you're saying she has free time now.
she does, and so in discussions, I'm telling her,
Yeah.
so on the DoD thing, she would email me like at 10:30 at night. Don't do that, Ann. Like in this project, she's retired, she can spend time with her family, but when she has free time, when she's sitting around looking for something to do, she can work on this, and feel good and make some money, so.
And the fact that she has the background and knows the issues, and I agree with Seth, they need to be brought forth right away.
Exactly, yeah.
Because a lot of the work was good, and then.
A vast majority
Oh,
of the
it
work was
was, and then
great.
there was just this little bit.
This is the very, very tail end of it. and-
But it definitely needs to be updated because you cannot have a planning commission make rulings when you have inaccuracies in your wildlife migration.
Yeah, I mean, even the whole comprehensive plan, it's, people treat it now like it's a formality. They have to show that it's consistent with the plan, and that's not how it should be.
No,
Our
it's
plan needs
outdated,
to
it's
reflect,
outdated.
yeah, and so, this is step 1 to a big project, so I think it's a good first step.
So she told me she wanted to retire and read to kindergartners, so
Yeah.
I don't want her to be denied
Maybe that's what she's doing.
any kindergartner class. Tell me, reading to kindergartners, but yes, I'd be very glad to see her, and I know she'll do a good job.
She was kayaking outside of Victoria Island last week, and so she has pretty good.
She's okay.
Yeah, she's
All right.
okay.
Good for her.
We could just write it so kindergartners could understand.
Yeah,
it.
maybe that's
Maybe-
all.
Maybe-
Then they would go, our code runs.
That's how we can, yeah.
Maybe that's the benefit, because she told me she wanted to go read to kindergartners, maybe she can now do a document that. the
Right
kindergartners-
for kindergartners.
Yeah, perfect. No, anyway, so I think that's very good idea, John.
Thank you, Commissioner. You'll be hearing about that as we move forward. So, city stuff, Randy mentioned, two of them, the gym and the Calvary Chapel, on site. Good to see the numbers here are also up a lot, more than double last year's June. And we're up year to year now, fiscal year, which is great to see. Chris has also been helping out some other jurisdictions, that are short-staffed, and so, he's been busy, and it's good to see on site being so productive and get stuff done. On the code compliance side, only 2 cases were opened in June. And so I don't know if this is people who are, out enjoying the outdoors and not looking over their fences much. Or people, busy spring
You
cleaning.
got like a month more.
But the good thing is you see, he closed 13 cases. So,
Good for him.
Glengarry Glen Ross,
Good for him.
he deserves a cup of coffee for his
There you go.
achievements.
Yeah. Very good.
And that's, I think, all I have.
And this, I could put this in a commissioner report, but I'm just gonna kind of parlay off of you, John. So the people that I just went away this morning, my company, they lived in a house that had high manganese. And they're not sure of the mechanism, but there's what they call an oxygenator. I have it on text, Mike sent it to me. And what it does is it takes the water, and there's something that you have to put it in a tank. And there's a chemical, and you put it in there, and they said it's kind of similar like to boiling the water, but it removes the manganese. So when the manganese leaves the tank, it's not a filtration, it's very much more inexpensive than a filtration system. But when it leaves the tank, you don't have the sludge. So your pipes are good and whatever, and like they said, they still didn't drink the water, but it took care of all the appliance needs. It took care of everything else, and she said that they had, I can't remember what inch pipes or 2-inch pipes, and they had an opening of like 1/2 inch because it was solid manganese sludge. So it's something that I haven't had a chance to do, but I want to go ahead, and we need to kind of look into this process. And I'm kind of surprised with all the agencies involved that no one has said, hey, there's this other method.
Yeah.
And it was used in California, so it has to be environmentally, I would assume, correct due to their laws, but I had never heard of that. So I give them a little tour yesterday. We went by the water contaminant, and they said, well, have you tried? And I go, no, I've never heard of it. It's like oxygenator or something like that, and I thought that was interesting.
That's interesting.
So again, you'd have to have a storage tank. But again, that's also, in California, we have a 5,000 gallon storage tank just for fire prevention. So yes, you'd have that cost, but is that cost gonna be more minimal than a $15,000 filtering system that you have to remove the filters and redo them every month? So that's just something that we need to kind of look up.
I'm glad you brought that up. So we're, that we're still waiting for the second round of testing results over there. I know that the residents got them a few weeks ago. DEQ's been saying it's coming.
Yes.
We still don't have them. I think they're fine tuning their language in there. But we should get those results soon, and then I can bring those to you and kind of discuss what
Yeah,
DEQ is looking
I
at.
had a voicemail from Greg about that, and he basically that they were gonna do they're finalizing this week, they're looking for the signatures, everyone involved, the sampling per plan should probably start around September. Is what and I haven't called him back.
So I did talk to them, and what's going on is they're finalizing so that they can go on the Knife River's property. And that they are gonna start digging multiple wells throughout the property to give a better representation of what's happening on the property. And so I'm pretty excited about that. That was something that has taken a long time, and I think it's good that we're moving forward on that, because that should alleviate a lot of, obviously not concern for the citizens, but at least they see that things are moving forward.
And then while we're still on groundwater, part of my commission report was while I was at the Pendleton conference, there was a girl stretching over in the corner that I happened to walk by that engaged me, and come to find out that she is the Oregon Health Authority's problem solver. And she said, I'm aware that you have water contamination in your area. Can I talk to you about it, Commissioner? And her card is on my desk, and after I get done here, I'm going to call her. Because she has someone who's her best friend that's in the Oregon Department of Human Services. And she was saying that they possibly, if because of what she's looked at the test, that they could possibly, Oregon Department of Human Services could possibly come in and do remediation because the people should not be drinking the water and whatever. So I haven't made that call to her yet. The card's sitting there on my desk, but yeah. So I wanted to look into, like I say, that oximeter or whatever it is, and then call this gal. Because maybe this would be the answer. They could give money for tanks and we could use this other process. I just think it's funny, this other process has never came up.
Let me know how those things pan out, obviously, that's good to know. And if you'll, pardon me, that reminds me, so that the TSP, I should also bring that up, we're trying to get that wrapped up, and so, if you remember, we wanted to have one more meeting in Juniper Canyon. Schedule that in pencil for August 20th. Date is fastly approaching and I got a lot of work to do, but so we're trying to have that second meeting in Juniper Canyon, August 20th. Need to get everything in line, need to figure out a location, but kind of have a multi-pronged approach for the citizens up there, and then once that gets done, the TSP will be coming to the planning commission and to you guys soon thereafter, so probably September.
Can we somehow advertise? So I have gotten emails about that from people from Juniper Canyon. And so I've been answering them. Can we somehow advertise so that Seth and I don't know, Brian, but we could go?
Yeah,
I would like, I would really like to do
yeah,
that
I'm
because,
not quite ready to have that.
but when you
publicized.
do finalize that, if
100%,
we
yeah.
could do that, because like I said, I've had a lot of emails and I've said, we're trying to do this TSP. We're trying to get it completed, and then that enables us to go and look for funding revenue. So I've made contact with a lot of people there, so I feel I should go.
Yeah, I need to find a big enough space, as you know, there's the last one pretty well attended, and so,
I'll make that call.
yeah, if you can make that call to the school,
Yeah.
might be looking at that, otherwise
So-
probably carry Foster Hall again.
So like I say, it's just so that if you would realize that, yes, we want to attend.
Once he has everything, all the ducks in a row.
Maybe by Friday.
Then we can advertise for it.
Perfect, thank you very much, Sarah. Okay,
That's it. Thank you.
okay, I don't think we can even now.
Well, manager's report.
Just one quick note, since we have a representative from Public Services here, I just wanted to note that next week, I'm gonna bring back the rate increase request that was brought up earlier this month. So we can hopefully wrap that up. So I just wanted to note for their purpose that will be on the agenda next week for the regular board meeting. But that's all I have this morning.
I think we had a really successful meeting last night in Powell Butte with Pacific Power. I think it was really good for the citizens to get some questions answered like that. Generally, people were respectful. I think there was a couple of people that were
How many
Passionate.
people do you think were there? I'm very bad at judging.
140.
Yeah.
Would be my 140 to 150 would be my
Yeah.
shooting from the hip.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people appreciated it. I mean, obviously, you know, John, what's John's last name?
Anello.
Anello, I mean, you know, he's a straight shooter, and he says, you know, you're probably not gonna be happy with his comment. But at least they then from there got from the horse's mouth of what actually situations are gonna be. Not, you know, I think there was a lot of misinformation traveling around the community about things, and I think it's important that we highlight what he said in the meeting was, this is a marathon, not a sprint. People need to continue to be attending these meetings and weighing in and sending in comments, and that does mean a lot when it comes to citing and deciding where it is, so. I think when we're talking to people about that, just say continue to talk to Pacific Power and make sure they hear your concerns. But again, you know, it's great to see that. I mean, I guarantee, even with Bend being such a larger place, I don't think Bend or Redmond would have be able to bring that many people out to have a conversation, so. I was happy that that turned out as well as it did.
I think you have a passionate community out there.
Yes,
Very passionate.
Rightfully so.
Yeah,
No,
rightfully
they
so.
are. And no, yeah, I totally agree, but I'm saying they all are involved and they all care, and that
Good
is
networks.
very nice to see that.
Community, yeah.
It's big on all walks of life too. I mean, it's a lot of different people, a lot of different occupations, retirees.
You have a lot of intelligence there.
Yeah.
Right.
I need to get Annette to make poster boards for our TSP. See how nice those work?
You know, I was very impressed with the presentation and the poster boards and everything, and then finally the one lady did put up a big course map, and I thought, we really do kind of maybe need to look at their map. So I was really glad, because I thought, I'm not getting up or doing anything, but when she got up and put it up there, I thought, oh, finally, at least we had it was their meeting, at least we had their representation.
Well, I heard, when I was talking to John at the beginning of the meeting, he was extremely impressed with their maps, and he said, I'm gonna talk to our designers and say they need to talk to whoever they're using. Because their maps are dramatically better than
Oh,
ours.
they were very good, yeah.
Also attended the, conference in Pendleton, so kind of to, which I think is a really good solution to the issue is nuclear. I got to go tour, one of the nuclear power plants in Washington. And, we need to really work at the state level to get that changed, because that would be a game changer. They made it clear that, actually, they didn't make it as clear as I would have liked, but they definitely spoke to the fact that because of the state of Oregon requiring, all renewable energy, it's putting us in the position where we need these power lines, where if we were able to actually site base load power in our communities, that this would not be an issue. And so, I think it's important that the state of Oregon understand that, and that we don't just, it's great if people call us, but when they call us, I think we say, call the governor, call your representatives and say, we need either nuclear or some other type of baseload power in our communities.
And I went to the wildfire tour. The energy tour was a bus and a half of people. And ours, we had 35 people on my tour. And the biggest thing that impressed me was we were on the North Fork of the John Day River. And it's the Prineville BLM district, clear way over there. And that river is the defining mark. And I had no idea that Prineville BLM went that far. I was very impressed with that. But anyway, and the second thing is we ate at the Ukiah Rodeo Grounds. They have been they created the Ukiah Rodeo 4 years ago. First year they had 500 people. Second year they had 1,000 people. Last year they had 2,500 people, and they just completed it. They had 3,500 people, and basically they have corrals and some small bleachers. They have nothing, and yet this rodeo is like just
In Ukiah.
in Ukiah. And it was very, very interesting, and they had all the board members there. They were all in black and white gingham shirts, and they had the rodeo president. And he was the one, because he's a massive landowner there, that he kind of donated where the rodeo grounds were. And very pleasant people. In fact, the one gal is the principal of the school. Talked about their alliance with the firefighting all coming into the school and everything. But yeah, and basically they have corrals and a little section of bleachers, and 3,500 people attended just this last month. And it's all community oriented, and the benefit that it brought into the community and everything. And then I was also very impressed, because I was impressed by two speakers. One was the Pendleton president of the rodeo. And what I was super impressed is they have 1,200 volunteers, and they have the volleyball team there, and they have Seth could probably tell me, the basketball team. But what they're doing is they're volunteering, but then the roundup and the profits benefit all of these groups. And I mean, there's like 3 columns of groups of different things. Volleyball just stuck out to me, but a lot of difference. And then the Wild Horse Casino, whatever you want to call it, Grand Poobah, he gets up and he says, you guys don't think I pay taxes. Well, let me tell you this. Last year, we paid the federal government 160 million. We paid the state of Oregon 54 million, and we paid Umatilla County 20 million. And so the Union County Commissioner, Jake, was sitting next to me and he says, I think that's why Umatilla County Commissioners have those fancy t-shirts. And I go, yeah. I go, I guess we need to just get us a casino in town and then we can have fancy t-shirts. But yeah, amazing when you look at that amount of money that is going out of this casino. I just can't hardly even fathom it. And they had it up there on a board, written information, and I was like, wow. Yeah, so we need to have land use put in a casino, maybe right next to the courthouse, and we can start really, getting some extra bucks in.
It's gonna be on tribal land, right? Probably one.
Yeah, but I just couldn't believe that, because I was under the impression they didn't pay a lot of taxes.
These ads won't be long till we look like Las Vegas.
Yeah,
That's
well,
how it started.
yeah. Are we gonna have the mafia come in too? Anyway, that's just kind of a side note, but it was very impressive to learn that and that kind of money that is coming out of that area. And also Hamley's Western Wear and Steakhouse was just bought by the tribes. And it was a private family owned. And I was told if the price is good enough, and so now the tribes actually own that, which is a pretty much landmark of Pendleton. And I got to see the blood on the bar where the guy got shot too. But that's all on the
And
side.
cleaned it up, yeah.
It's soaked into the wood. It's a bar from the 1800s. It came from Montana, and the guy, they brought it there. I don't know how they got it there, because it's in one piece. And the guy was carving, and the bartender told him to stop, and he didn't, so he shot him in the head, and he went forward, and there's a puddle of blood soaked into the bar, and then there's the carving. It was I thought it was quite interesting. So those are my little commissioner sidelight report. I learned way more than government.
Did you gamble at all?
I did not put a dime in. I do know another commissioner that may have been tempted. I'm not gonna mention any names on it.
I didn't know Brian was there.
Darn sure.
Good comment, Seth, good comment. Anyway, but yeah, no, I didn't. I did it. I was good.
All right, no executive session? Call the day.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Motion made, second, carried, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Okay, I wouldn't say that. Okay. Yeah, I just got a text. Avery already showed her pig. Oh no. Yeah, so I'm not gonna make
You
it.
don't say it.
I'm not gonna, yeah, I didn't, well, I'm gonna see if maybe she's going in the champion ring tonight.